Not the Nerd O'Clock News, Spring 2019. The facts as I know them are not facts, but theories. Thus, the following fantastical, known non-truths are founded exclusively upon fragments of fruity fiction, and any similarity between their respective narratives and entities within the realm of reality is purely coincidental. Update your reflexes. Microsoft released a groundbreaking update to the latest update of Windows 10 Update. Having provided Windows 10 Home users with the long-awaited ability to defer new features, security patches and major OS releases by manually opting out every 7 days, the company subsequently introduced a quirky twist to this process. Upon selecting to postpone a pending installation, the customer was then prompted to confirm their decision, though as they attempted to click OK, the dialog box randomly teleported to a different part of the screen, and continued to do so at progressively faster intervals until they were either successful or uttered the phrase, "OK Cortana, you win," whereupon the updates were installed. Critics claim the symptoms to be identical to those precipitated by an aggressive form of malware, though Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella argued that the procedure was harmless fun, intended to sharpen the reaction times and fine motor skills of an increasingly sedentary generation, and persuade people that even failure had its merits, since any Windows update could only serve to improve the user's experience. Conspiracy theorist Dr. Jack Bardock was adamant that the data was being utilized to covertly recruit citizens to train as fighter pilots on behalf of the US Air Force in secret subterranean facilities located beneath the Pentagon, Mount Rushmore, Sydney Opera House, Euro Disney, Fingal's Cave, and this semi-detached B&B in the Cotswolds, owned and run by 2 semi-retired cake factory workers. We will be bringing you the next story in just a few moments, but first, I need to talk about Veggie Viscerate, a vegan recipe book by Vlad the Impaler.
I tell you, my wife and I, before we got a hold of this thing, we didn't know vegetables existed. We just scoffed bugs, grass, and soil from our own back garden. Over 9 whole pages packed with so many delightful and delicious recipes. Stimulating, inspiring, and super low calorie. 100 calories per 100 grams or less guaranteed for every delectable dish. But the real genius behind Veggie Viscerate lies within preparation. You assemble a humanoid entirely from vegetables. That's right, you could use a cauliflower for a head, cucumbers and leeks for arms and legs, maybe a marrow for a torso. My wife Laurie, she did a great one. She used a pumpkin for a pelvis and root ginger for hands and feet. Then you take the enclosed utensils, made entirely from recycled pallet wood, that are sharp enough to cut vegetable matter but blunt enough to cause no damage whatsoever to human skin unless you are spectacularly boneheaded, very strong, and very angry, and you let that sucker have it, exactly like Vlad would have done if he'd had vegetables in the 15th century instead of massacring the Ottoman Empire. It's fantastic. You get all of your veggies sliced and diced, and on top of that, you get a darn good workout. Veggie Viscerate by Vlad the Impaler. Just hop over to culinaryfiction.com and type in promo code 5555555555555 and click nothing for a 3 turnip reduction. Is that it?
Yep.
Take it away and burn it. Waste of time.
I quite liked it.
Alright, keep it. It's yours.
Space Gray Invaders. Apple's subscription-based arcade service included 20 variants of the classic game Breakout amongst its selection of 100 launch titles. Perhaps the most controversial was a version that replaced the spaceship with the severed head of a has-been Hollywood celebrity and required the player to sing specific notes to maneuver it left and right. The energy orb, meanwhile, was transformed into a rotten tomato. whilst the bricks had been substituted by miniaturized images of legal tender currency from every country across the globe and continually respawned no matter how many times they were destroyed. The rework was rumoured to have been created by a disgruntled freelance app developer in protest against Apple's extortionate commission rates, though some long-term Apple devotees theorised that it might have originated from Steve Wozniak, hailed by many as the true mastermind behind the company's earliest self-contained home computers, for which his business-savvy co-innovator, Steve Jobs, had reaped the lion's share of profit and publicity. In examining a potted history of the game's initial incarnation, it is easy to see how some could have arrived at this conclusion. Jobs bags a job at Atari working night shifts on optimizing game designs. Jobs learns of his employer's plans for Breakout. Jobs gets Woz to visit Atari. Jobs and Woz demonstrate Woz's home version of Pong, a game originally designed and embodied by Atari. Atari offers job to Woz. Woz says, "No, I'd rather continue tinkering on my own terms." Jobs fixes rudimentary hardware problems for Atari in West Germany and travels to India to find the real Steve Jobs. Jobs returns to Atari with the real Steve Jobs. Atari announces a competition for Breakout. Make it using less than 100 chips and we'll pay you $100 per chip saved. Jobs falsely tells Woz that by eliminating 50 or 60 chips, they could earn either $700 or $1,000, approximately 15% of the actual amounts. Woz and Jobs eventually design the game using just 42 chips. Jobs pays Woz $350 of the $5,000 and pockets the rest. Regardless of the truth, this artistic paraphrase of a timeless masterpiece serves to illustrate the notion that all the money in the world can get you absolutely nowhere.